I thought I was going to have problems, finding a subject for a video. You might recall when I did my Picard teaser response review video, it was blocked worldwide within seconds of just starting to play. And other folks are having similar situations. And following that pattern, any reference at all to the Captain Marvel clip that I guess they thought was Disney was under the strange impression that this is going to make her look even more like a badass, and it turns out no, what you're showing is aggravated assault, grand theft auto, motorcycle, and petty theft of the t-shirt. And they are stomping out any and all references to that video, and the video itself, for that matter, at least as far as YouTube's gone. Thankfully, YouTube is mistaken in their impression that they are the world, because there are other platforms out there still that do have the video. I got it. I plan on using it later on in this video too. So. But in the way that also was how I was able to get my Picard video re-uploaded free from claim from CBS, because make no mistake, a review on a 1-minute video teaser falls well within fair use. They are blatantly ignoring the law in this case, and they need to be called out on it. Especially when when I've got the clip, a big watermark over the top, and I've distorted the image, with filters, and they still claim it. It's like, you idiots. This is what happens when non-creatives get control of a creative enterprise, like a studio or a television network. They all think in terms of property rights and claiming this and copyright infringement, that. And yes, it's a business, but it's show business. And they're doing their best to try and make the lie to the old axiom that there's no such thing as bad publicity. This is bad publicity, guys. Because what you're doing is you're kind of stomping out any buzz whatsoever. I mean, most of the reviews on the Picard thing were kind of okay, or some people were actually excited about. Look, this looks interesting. And even those, it's like JP, he was genuinely enthused for this show, because it looked like they finally turned a corner and maybe figured out what the hell they're doing wrong, and he got blocked worldwide. What are you morons trying to prove? Okay, that you own the property? That's been acknowledged from the get-go. All you're doing is stomping out any and all enthusiasm for your project, and you're going to wonder why there are empty theaters, why you have to go out and buy tickets for your movie, why you can't trumpet your viewing numbers from the highest top, because they're pretty pathetic, actually. The only reason you're saying it's record-breaking because the previous record was also pretty damn pathetic. You got, I said in a previous video, it's like, fan clubs used to be run by the studios. They would generally, try and get this enthusiasm out there to get people interested. To keep them coming out and say, hey, so-and-so's in a new movie, come get it, So-and-so got caught out, out and about with Ava Gardner in the backseat, whoa, then get him talking. So, and by the way, he's got a movie coming out. Oh, does he? So, it's like, whatever happened to the moguls of old days, I mean, yeah, there are corrupt sleazebags, they had little fixers, that made people disappear, or suddenly, Tab Hunter has 5 girlfriends when he's gayer than Liberace. That's a funny thing. Actually, when I heard Liberace wasn't nearly that neat as it put on. Once the cameras went away and the hangers on, when he put on flannel shirt, sweat and jeans. God, give me a beer. You know? I mean, he wasn't going to mistake anybody for a lumberjack, but yeah, he generally didn't flounce around in feathers and bows. But yeah, got but really, it's like we're talking minute and a half clips here, and yeah, it says in the law. In fact, I'll put up a graphic on here, but it says in the law that for review or search or whatever, it is fair use. It is perfectly legal to use. And I think there's counting the fact that denying revenue, just put a claim on that. But even then, the claim is illegal. Because it is, it's well within around the fair use law of 2007. I get it. For purposes of review and research or whatever, it's perfect to use these clips, and not have to have any ownership of them. And it's going to be quite clear the CBS doesn't care what little peons think. They're going to got their little lawyers on these things. And Disney's probably the same damn thing. Disney's even going worse. They're moving their clip, and when everybody else's clip, they're going to pretend like that never happened, because it was pretty embarrassing. When they're supposedly this is going to be the face of Marvel going forward, and you just showed her, committing a major felony, guys. A couple of major felonies actually. And so much for going forward. And so I suddenly say, yeah, the new face of Marvel Phase 4 going forward is going to be Spider-Man, which probably should have been to begin with. I don't know, somebody has got the impression that Captain Marvel must be the biggest character of the Marvel universe, which is named Marvel. It's like, yeah, that was the plan when they kind of snagged the copyright away from DC, because DC was asleep at the wheel. But their Captain Marvel has never been a heavy hitter. I mean, power-wise, yeah, it's always been a grossly overpowered character, but it's never really caught on. That's why it's been rebooted so damn many times. Even Marvel himself went through a few changes. I think the biggest splash he made is when they killed him off and he died of leukemia. And that was one of the first graphic novels to put out, The Death of Captain Marvel. But since then, it's like, it also shows that some of them are either ignorant of their own, of the character name history at least, because you could have gone straight to Monica Rambeau as because she was because she was Captain Marvel for a while, totally independent of the the Kree Skrull stuff. But you'd have a double whammy, because Monica Rambeau, female obviously, and black. And it did the police officer. So it had all the bases covered right there, But again, they have been building up the Kree stuff that going back to when they killed off Coulson and brought him back by some kind of, I don't know, injected him full of Kree stuff or whatever, Kree blood, bringing him back that way. So they've been building up the Kree stuff for a while. I congratulate them for pulling off the Skrulls, apparently without making them look like, too cartoony. I'm not a big fan of them making them into refugee victim type, because the Skrulls have been a major villain from, like Fantastic Four #2. That's longer than I've been alive, guys, and I'm old. Okay. But it's possible to have a war where both sides are kind of sleazy, okay? You don't have to have one be virtuous little undertrodden. They're trying to make a point about, immigration. And that's another case of where you're putting the agenda above the story. And that's never a good idea, If you got a legitimate point to make, yes, make it, but don't subvert the overall narrative for the sake of it. And for that one, they're kind of, forget for subverting expectations. They're subverting the canon of Marvel. And yes, before anyone jumps in, I know the comic book canon has always been, a dubious concept at best, and especially when you're already taking major liberties between the printed page and the movie. Like Tony Stark was originally in Vietnam when he got injured. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do the Fantastic Four. Although the best thing is what they do with Spider-Man, just skip the origin story. Just take it as a given. Yeah, they just have got the powers. Quick little montage at the beginning, or going through a. This may have been Patrick Willems thing of how to make a Fantastic Four thing. Is like a little exhibit down in the lobby of the Baxter Building with a school tour. And the tour guide, going a rundown of how they got their powers, and now they saved the world from high atop the Baxter Building here, with the inventions and superhero deeds. Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four, or then there, you're done in about maybe 30 seconds. So you don't have to worry, figure out some new way of depicting that origin story without being really hokey. But when companies start resorting to suppressing the history or trying to alter the history, you know what that is? That's the tactic of fascists. When they start trying to rewrite history, it's been brought up more and more. 1984 was a warning, not an instruction guide. This is not something to emulate, guys. Okay. And I'm with Whoopi Goldberg. It's like, on certain things, like Song in the South, release it. Put a documentary on the back of it. Do their virtue signaling there. Going about how things have changed, and actually, I think maybe do an honest analysis of that movie, because I don't think it's nearly really as racist as they say it is. Just because you got the stereotypes in there. I still remember it's like Uncle Remus was never portrayed as in a negative light. He was very much a positive figure. Yeah, he still got that kind of step and fetch it manners, but he was always a positive character. And the dialect of the Brer Rabbit, that. Under other, isn't that called Ebonics? And it's a historical piece. It's acknowledge your history here. Quit trying to suppress it. I think it'd be fun to see a release of the propaganda films they made during World War II. And just so with apologies to our friends in Japan, unfortunately we were at war with you because you kind of bombed the crap out of our base. But hey, it all worked out in the end, didn't it? So. Did you know that they don't really teach World War II history in Japanese schools? It took them like 50 years just to acknowledge that something happened and that they were involved. Never going into detail of why they're involved or to what extent, or why the U.S. decided one day in 1945 to drop a couple nuclear bombs on them. They're just kind of like, no, we don't, because the Japanese language is a very nuanced thing. Like intonations are such, it's a very complicated, overly elaborate thing. Where, and when Hirohito did his address to the nation, most people never heard his voice anyway, so they were. That's the emperor. Ooh, he sounds short, but the roundabout way he went about making that, most people thought that Japan had won because of the nature of the verbiage he was using. But we're getting off on tangents here now. CBS, knock it off. You're in trouble with the fans as it is. This isn't helping. Disney, stop trying to control the world, because Well, to quote a very prominent figure in one of the properties you own, the more you tighten your grip, the more systems will slip through your fingers. Because, yeah, you're trying to stomp it out on YouTube. I found the clip on Daily Motion, okay? And without any further ado, here's the clip and how you can kind of monkey around with it enough that it can get by the bots, okay? PayPal, Patreon down below, and we'll try and get something later on today here and get you going.